clap it up for all the honorees thus far? There's another honoree in this room, and Mama Angie, she would often say, you don't want to introduce me to this person. And I didn't even remember initially until she brought it back to my remembrance. And Donnell was there. We was out in Virginia, and it was a show. It was a fashion show / performance. And at that experience is when this connection happened with Mama Angie and Ricochet. And I'm going to read a little bit about this queen. Her name is Kalishia Mitchell. But let's talk a little bit about who is Miss Kalishia Mitchell. Can we clap it up just while I'm getting the notes together? Okay. Miss Kalishia, she is I.M.P.A.C.T. Can we say I.M.P.A.C.T?
I.M.P.A.C.T.
She inspires. Can we say inspires?
Inspires.
She motivates. Can we say motivate?
Motivates.
She perseveres. Can we say persevere?
Persevere.
She shows compassion towards individuals, families, and her community. She is tenacious, and she has travailed through tough times. Can we say tough times?
Tough times.
Although she's been through tough times, Miss Kalishia Mitchell, we want to honor you tonight with the I.M.P.A.C.T. Award for your continued dedication, commitment to making a difference in the lives of individuals and families. Can we clap it up for Miss Mitchell? And as she comes, we want her to share about the name of her organization. We want to share about why you got started and what are you doing in the community. Let's clap it up one more time.
Ooh, I don't think I've ever had an introduction like that before. And just to hear that, hello everyone. Yes, I'm Kalishia Mitchell. This is my son, Jaquan. To hear that's how someone feels about me, I would have never, ever, my story and where I came from, I would have never thought I would be standing here. I always said if I saw in me what God saw in me, my confidence would go through the roof. If I thought of myself what God thinks of me, it would take my confidence to a whole other place. But my story is long, and my story, I'm gonna write a book one day. I already got the title of my book, and it's called I Made It. I Made It. I met Miss Angie. Miss Angie is my family. I hear everyone talk about how she is their family. Miss Angie is someone very special to me. I live in Hampton, Virginia, and I met Miss Angie in 2015, and I met her. There was my colleague, which is my sis. She hosted. They were called the Youth Rip the Runway shows, and this show was pretty much meant to highlight and teach the youth. It was like a modeling show, modeling lessons, local designers. So to be a part of that was an answer to my prayer. I found my purpose. And I found someone who taught me how to turn my passion into a purpose. LaTanya Wallace. Denton, excuse me. So again, she saw something in me that, again, I didn't see in myself. Now, I knew God had something big for me one day, but I just did not know how to execute it. And I know God has always been in my ear. Again, my story. And I just kept pressing on. But I remember that event. It was a fashion show, and I remember Ricochet had performed. I never forget, they had like the silver masks, and they were just amazing. I literally could not believe, and it was about 5, 6 of them at that time. It was a whole lot of them at that time. But when I say they came and they rocked that Hampton Convention Center that year, it was just like, wow. And again, our paths had crossed. Because I understand what she was doing with her kids being on the spectrum. So maybe some months after that, I think July of that year, 2015, I started my organization. And my organization is A Brighter Side to ASD. Incorporated. So like I said, I had learned my purpose. It took me a long time to learn that purpose. And you know how they say, if the door is not created for you and is not there for you to open, then create your own door.
That's right.
Create your own path. And so where I came from, I had my son when I was 16 years old. So again, my story is long. And I didn't graduate high school, and I didn't have all those accolades, you know, like a lot of people have, those titles and everything, and what society says where you have to be acknowledged and to be recognized. So somehow, some way, God was answering my prayers. And another thing, I love the way they get down, the way they dance, because I'm a Jersey girl, born and raised. So when they get to doing that club music and they get there, it just be like, woo, boy, I love it, get me turned up. So again, it was my determination. I always was a go-getter from the time I was a little girl. If you say no, I'm going to figure out how we're going to make it yes. And if I'm going to put in the work, then we're going to make it yes. So again, my story, when I started the organization, my son was 20 years old. And, you know, we went through just our journey getting to that point. But it was a lot of things in this community that we did not have. And again, that passion, that purpose, God pretty much stood in my face, in my ear, in my throat, on my back, in my dreams, telling me it was time to start this organization. This is what I want you to start. I didn't have a job at the time. I did not have no money. I was an at-home mom. I have 4 children total. But he told me to go forth. And when I say he showed me my vision, he showed it to me real quick. Boom. And in that vision, he told me I was going to have some land. I was going to have all that. You're going to build a village. So step by step, I created a brighter side to ASD because what my son had the ability to do, no one could see it. Because of his autism, Jaquan was diagnosed in 1998, whole different time for autism versus where it is now. And we didn't have a lot of the support. There was not a lot of the information or anything during that time. So again, y'all know that if I knew then what I know now, everybody would have been working off my ABA program that I used and the techniques and what I used to get my son to the point that he is. So God said it was time. So to highlight a brighter side to ASD, I wanted to highlight the brighter side of living with a disorder. And highlight what they have the ability to do. Create the platforms that we need to give them their opportunities to allow for their light to shine. And again, this young man was able to, he is my sous chef. So he can prep, he can chop, cut, feed. He not cooking as much as he used to, but he can make a macaroni and cheese and fry some chicken. He ain't got to say much, but he can feed you. And my mama always told me, it don't matter what, you ain't got to read, write, you ain't got to have no whole bunch of money to give nobody nothing. But if you can feed them, they'll remember you. And I can cook my behind off, okay? So I taught my son how to cook. I catered for years. And it was like, he got all these skills. Why can't anybody see them? Why is the system not allowing a place for them? So I created that place for them. And I created that space, that safe space for them. And again, 2015 is when I started. And now, where I am, my goal was to show how their abilities outweigh their disability. And my goal was to provide the awareness. I need you the awareness to be aware of autism. Because if I can just get you to be just a little bit aware of it, just to get a little bit of it, a wonder, a little in your mind, then I got you. Then I can go ahead and I can feed you the knowledge that you need, because I got the knowledge. I got the knowledge more than the doctors and all those professionals that they say are professionals. Then I pretty much wait, because once I give you the knowledge, then you're going to have a little bit of understanding. Then once you get that understanding, then you can accept my babies. Then you can have a space that's going to be there for them. So again, my story is, again, long. All I can say is I just thank God, because, again, society told me that I couldn't make no more. At the time, I couldn't make no more than $9 an hour. I would look for jobs, and I couldn't get, and I'm like, yo, I can run your whole business better than you. Why can't I get these opportunities? Because it wasn't on